Hello everybody, welcome. I'm No02 and thank you for watching this video. This is part 3, the final part of my beginner's guide here. We've talked about all the basic UI, a couple of little tricks with it. We've talked about a easy and quick way to gain access to the first perk slot, passive perk slot, and the perk tree, as well as just talked about the perks a little bit in general. Now I'm going to talk about just the class that I would recommend for beginners and the overall build that I would recommend for all of their gear and equipment. This is, for the most part, all of their starter gear here. The reason why I'm recommending this, the Scout specifically here for beginners, is that it is, I think, has one of the more easier, more versatile kits where you have a weapon that is good at crowd control, a weapon that is good at dealing with flying enemies, and also does enough damage to be significant when fighting bosses or high health enemies, as long as the shotgun, same deal. Can have enough ammo to do a crowd control, can deal with high health enemies, things like that. But most importantly for me, it's the grappling hook. This is the only class that begins right out the gate from level 1 with the ability to basically save themselves from falling to their death. Now sometimes the grappling hook might be the reason why you're falling to your death, but gravity in this game is a killer. It's one of the hardest enemies that you'll end up dealing with as a beginner. But the grappling hook, you can shoot it directly at you're falling to your death, you shoot it directly at the ground, you hold it, you zip line yourself to the ground, and you don't take any fall damage. So basically you can save yourself all the time with the zip line. I mean, the grappling hook specifically here. And so, I'm going to go through all of the gear. I'm going to recommend to you the weapon modifications that I chose. Need a nice bit of flexibility. Instead of sort of explaining why I'm choosing all these things like super specifically, for the most part, the general rule of thumb is ammo over damage. When it makes sense, for the most part, I have the boomstick rigged for more damage because that's sort of like you have to be super close to use it anyways. I don't use it all the time, right? But for the most part, this kit that I'm about to explain to you will give you just the most versatility as well as the most benefit out of resupplying and restocking and things like that. And just something to understand and work towards in general. So when it comes to our assault rifle, I highly recommend that you run the increased fire rate on your very first slot, followed by expanded ammo bags, followed by high capacity magazine, hollow point bullets, and then increased stun chance at the very end. And very, very clean, comfortable, lot of utility here. In the jury-rigged boomstick, we will pick up double-sized buckshot, though you can't go wrong with the expanded ammo bags. Then we'll have double trigger. Then we will pick up high-capacity shells, though also the reload here is also fine as well, pick and choose. And then we have the tungsten-coated buckshot, followed by the auto reloading. And this is for beginner stuff, right? At some point, if you ended up running like Born Ready, the passive perk that lets you auto reload, you can not choose this and choose something else. But for beginners, when you don't have access to those later game perks, auto reload, very, very nice on the boomstick. Now on the pickaxe, and this will be true of any dwarf class that you pick. They have the same exact possible gear modifications for the pickaxe. Do not be scared of the power attack. I was like, power attack? I'm going to shoot guns. I don't need a power attack with my pickaxe. That seems silly. This is a core, baseline tool that you'll be using to fight enemies all the time. All of the time. The power attack will allow you to one-shot a nice little chunk of enemies, a nice little chunk of enemies in one big mega slam. It's very nice. It's very cool. It's on a cooldown, so you can't use it all the time. But so it just ends up being it's basically one of your powers. One of the powers that all of your dwarves have access to, so I highly recommend you get this early on as far as upgrades are concerned. And then you just get you can get Shockwave, or you can get Better Weight Balance, and I highly recommend Better Weight Balance to basically allow you to do your power attack more often. Next we have the Flare Gun. I recommend expanded ammo bags, increased fire rate, and then the auto reload function. For the grappling hook, I like to have reload speed, or the less time charging up, followed by the increased range, followed by the hook shoots out at a faster speed, and then faster cooldown again. When it comes to the grenades, the IFG, the slowdown grenade, is solid, but there's a lot more like, oh crap, I'm about to die, or someone's like something scary is about to happen. Cryo grenade is quite nice. Throw it, and most enemies will be frozen completely solid with one grenade throw, and they become very easy to kill when frozen. So the cryo grenade is just a great like get out of jail free card. You're trapped in a corner, you're stuck. You can throw the cryo grenade. Everything freezes. The damage that you're taking stops because they're frozen in place. Get some time to either blow them up or fly away with your grappling hook and things like that. And then finally, for the armor, I recommend actually bigger mineral bag. Max health increased. Built-in shock absorbers when falling, so less fall damage. And then your shield, when your shield breaks, it damages all enemies around you. So keep in mind though that as you upgrade the armor, you get passive effects of like increased total health. So at some point, you'll purchase all of the armor upgrades because it gives you more health over time. That is the build that I would recommend. I always recommend like Resupplier as your first passive perk, and then Field Medic as your second, and then as your first active perk. The other two things you won't have access to yet, so don't worry about them. When it comes to what to upgrade and get in order, I would recommend focusing on your primary rifle, getting your power attack, and then upgrading your grappling hook. Because those are the things that are going to save you the most health over time. Now, of course, as you unlock more upgrades, feel free to make purchases as you see fit and things like that. But I like the scout as a beginner character because the grappling hook saves you from a lot of situations. And some of the other classes, like having the platforms and the engineer, or being able to drill bunkers with the driller, there might be a little bit more game knowledge to an extent to understanding how to use those characters and their abilities to the maximum effect. But of course, if you want to start off as a gunner as your first class, go for it. Go for it. There's no harm in that, no shame in that. Eventually, I'll be making a build for all of these guys, but I just think that the scout, if you're a little scared, a little intimidated, try out the scout. I think they're the easiest class to learn right out the gate. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Questions, concerns, let me know. And I'll see you in the future.